If you shoot photos or videos on a DSLR mirrorless camera or an interchangeable lens video camera, the time will come when you want to get some new lenses to expand your creative and shooting possibilities, but what to get and why. There's tons of choices out there, and trying to figure out which to get can make your head spin, especially when you start looking at the different prices for new lenses. Have you ever wondered why some camera lenses cost so much while others are pretty affordable? Well, hang on to the end of this video, because I'm going to list for you 14 different reasons why some affordable lenses are the same cost as a nice dinner out, while others cost a month's mortgage payment. Hi, I'm Jim Costa. I'm a videography, photography, and technology guru, but you can call me a dadographer. I've created many other videos on improving your photography, videography, filmmaking, video editing, audio recording, and technology skills, and I'll link to those in the description below, and both during and at the end of this video, so stay tuned. If you want to learn more, remember to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell to be notified when I upload new videos. I upload every week, and I'll be uploading many more explanations of film, video, photo editing, and technology topics. Stay tuned to the end to find out how to get my free DSLR mirrorless or interchangeable lens video camera cheat sheet that'll have you shooting your photos and videos like a pro with any lens that you choose in no time. To understand the differences between lenses, I believe it's important to first categorize them into different groups or quality grades, starting with the least expensive type, most available, and moving on up to the most expensive special purpose lenses. First are consumer grade lenses. These include all the affordable variable aperture lenses with f3.5 and slower or higher number apertures, and some cheap f1.8 prime lenses. These are plastic bodies lenses, and many even have plastic mounts to stay very inexpensive. They are often designed specifically for crop sensor cameras, and the price range for consumer lenses is typically under about $500 US, but in some cases can be more for higher quality consumer lenses or super zooms. Now, if some of these terms are unfamiliar to you, check out the video I created on choosing the best lens, where I define some of those terms that I've just mentioned. The link is in the description below. Next are enthusiast grade lenses, and these are a bridge between consumer and professional lenses with medium range pricing and slower constant maximum apertures around 2.8 or so. They are built better than the consumer lenses mentioned, with more advanced optical formulas, often with chemically coated elements that produce better images. Their price range is typically between $500 and $1,500 US, but can extend further than that for certain lenses. The autofocus motors can be a bit slow on these lenses as well. Higher end models will have a golden ring for Nikon cameras or a red ring for Canon cameras in the front to indicate professional quality. Manufacturers might call these lenses professional quality. However, I would classify these lenses as prosumer. So what does that mean? Well, they're certainly better quality than entry-level consumer lenses, but they're not quite at the professional level from a professional's point of view. Third are professional grade lenses. And these are high-end, constant aperture, full-frame lenses between f1.4 and f2.8 with superb optics, a metal barrel and mount, advanced optical design with top lens coating technologies, fast autofocus motors, and weather resistance. Prices typically start in the $1,500 range and up. Finally, you have exotic or special purpose lenses, and these are a subset of professional lenses and are the best of the best, if you will. These are the most expensive lenses you can buy with manual focus. They're handcrafted lenses for specialized formats with very specialized mounts. Knowing this, it's time to look at why lenses cost so much. The main differentiating factors between the above categories, besides price, are features, build quality, say metal versus plastic, autofocus motor speed, lens size, and optical features. All are what cumulatively separate one lens from another. Manufacturers typically combine enthusiast and professional lenses into one category, which simplifies things. In that case, however, how would you differentiate between lenses like a 70 to 200 millimeter f4 and a 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8 if both are considered professional? Instead of breaking up the professional category into subcategories, I thought it would just be easier to introduce a separate one for enthusiast or prosumer lenses like I did. For the explanation below, however, I will combine the enthusiast and professional lenses into one category, for simplicity's sake. Now, I'm not here to talk about different lens categories in detail. I've actually done that in another video. I want to explain the price differences between the four groups that I mentioned earlier. Why, for example, does the Nikon 35mm f1.4G lens cost over 8 times more than the Nikon 35mm f1.8G DX lens? For many beginners, it's hard to understand why there is such a huge difference. Does it mean that the first lens is 8 times better? Not necessarily. Here is my 14-reason summary of why professional lenses cost so much more than consumer lenses. First are production costs and quality of components. One of the main reasons for the high cost of professional lenses is their production costs and the high quality standards set by the manufacturer. Consumer grade lenses are manufactured in batches in mostly automated fashion with very little human involvement. While in professional grade lenses, each individual glass or fluorite lens element goes through a very high quality manufacturing process. It is acceptable to use lower grade acrylic elements or glass with naturally formed bubbles in it in consumer lenses. In comparison, glass elements used in professional lenses go through rigorous testing and inspections, with only the highest grade optics making their way into professional grade lenses. Glass elements used in high-end professional lenses are hand-pressed, shaped, and handled by experienced engineers who run both visual and computerized inspections to detect any potential problems. There are also big differences in the physical assembly of lenses and other components used within those lenses. Consumer-grade lenses are mostly assembled by machines and are composed of cheaper or lower-end plastic and aluminum parts. Professional lenses, on the other hand, are hand-assembled and only the best components, mostly brass and other metals, end up inside the lenses. Hence, the production costs of professional lenses are always much higher in comparison. In addition, professional lenses require a lot more research and development to design top performers in the industry, which also increases the cost. Number 2 are the quality thresholds. On top of the above-mentioned production cost and component differences, professional lenses have much tighter or stricter quality assurance thresholds. For example, if a consumer lens variance is between 1 and 10, professional lenses would have a much tighter variance, something like 1 and 3. These threshold differences are set throughout the entire manufacturing process, from variances in the optical glass to the assembly process to inspection to the final Q&A checks, so the tighter thresholds are met during every phase of manufacture of the lens, therefore producing a superior lens in the end. Number 3 is the optical design. Professional lenses are designed with complex optical formulas that require many optical elements inside to reduce or correct various lens aberrations. Now, for those who don't know, in optics, an aberration is a property of optical systems, such as lenses, that causes the light to be spread out over some region of space rather than to be focused to a sharp point. Aberrations cause the image formed by a lens to be blurred or distorted, with the nature of the distortion dependent upon the type of aberration. That defined, let's get back to optical design. For example, in the above-mentioned Nikon 35mm f1.4G lens, it has 10 elements in 7 groups, while the Nikon 35mm f1.8G DX lens has 8 elements in 6 groups. While the difference in the physical number of elements is not that very big, there is a huge difference in the size of each individual lens element, as evidenced by Their construction diagram is shown here. Adding these elements internally into the lens sharpens and improves the images the lens produces, but also dramatically increases the cost of the lens. Now, number 4 is lens elements and coatings. In addition to the differences in optical design, there are also big differences in the type of lens elements used within the lenses themselves. Aspherical, extra low dispersion, and fluorite lens elements cost a lot more to make than regular ones. So you will see many more of those types of elements used in professional lenses. In addition, professional lenses are also made with special coatings such as Nikon's super integrated coating and nano crystal coat, which dramatically decrease internal reflections, improve sharpness, contrast, and colors, and also reduce ghosting and flare. Adding more of these chemical coatings to lens elements will produce better images, but also increase the cost for the lens. However, most professionals will gladly pay for these additional items to produce superior images or videos using the professional lenses that have them. Now, number 5 is image quality, or in layman's terms, sharpness and contrast. Thanks to complex optical designs, professional lenses are optimized to provide very high image quality with sharp center-to-corner resolution. Special attention is given to reduce various optical problems and aberrations such as distortion, chromatic aberration, and vignetting visible in less expensive lenses. In short, cheap lenses tend to be sharply focused right in the center, but not on the edges, while expensive lenses are sharp in focus throughout the entire image. Number 6, image quality or colors. Professional lenses also yield superior colors, again thanks to advanced optical designs and coatings. Now, if all this is making sense to you, but I've got it in the comments section below. Number 7 is the format. Consumer lenses are often made for smaller APS-C sized sensor cameras, also known as crop sensor cameras. Because the smaller sensors only use the center area of the frame and chop off the corner or the outer edges, only the center portion of the lenses are actually used effectively. To reduce the cost and size of consumer lenses, manufacturers make lenses with smaller image circles because the corners are wasted anyway because the sensor doesn't read them. Put another way, consumer lenses are sort of like reverse donuts in that they use the center of the lens, where the donut hole is, to sharpen the image sent to the crop sensor. But the outer ring, the donut part of the lens, isn't used at all because the crop sensor doesn't see it, so this part of the lens tends to be of inferior quality. Now, if you're not certain what I'm talking about, check out this video I did on full frame equivalents where I discuss this topic in detail. The link is in the description below. Number 8 is the maximum or constant aperture. This might be the most commonly known item on this list of why some lenses are expensive, and yes, it is a major contributor to cost, but it also works in conjunction with the other items on the list as well. Most consumer lenses are slow, variable aperture lenses. They do not perform well in low light situations because they let in a lot less light than professional lenses. Their slow aperture easily confuses autofocus systems, causing focusing errors in challenging light situations. In contrast, professional lenses are mostly faster, constant aperture lenses. The differences are often quite big. For example, the Nikon 18 to 200 mm f3.5 to 5.6 G variable aperture super zoom lens at 200 mm is an f5.6 lens because the aperture varies, while the Nikon 70 to 200 mm f2.8 G lens stays at 2.8 no matter what the focal length is that you choose. This is a huge two-stop difference at 200 mm compared to 70. Smaller apertures let in more light, perform better in low light situations, so having a lens with a smaller aperture is always more desirable than a lens with a larger aperture. Number 9 is bokeh. Slow variable aperture lenses are quite bad at rendering beautiful out-of-focus highlights, known as bokeh. In addition, slow aperture translates to larger depth of field, which means that consumer lenses are limited in their subject isolation capabilities. In contrast, professional lenses are designed specifically to render backgrounds in a smooth, creamy way that is aesthetically pleasing to look at, and their large maximum aperture allows for much more effective subject isolation. For a more detailed explanation of bokeh, check out the video I did on this subject. I'll put a link to that video in the description below as well. Now, number 10 is the autofocus speed. Consumer-grade lenses often come with slow autofocus motors that are often inadequate for fast action, such as wildlife or sports photography. Professional lenses, on the other hand, typically come with very fast autofocus motors that snap subjects into focus immediately. In telephoto lenses, autofocus settings can be optimized for long-range shooting, which further reduces focus acquisition time. Number 11 is fixed lens size. Most consumer and some enthusiast lenses change in size, they extend or collapse when zooming in and out or focusing. Because of this, it's not only inconvenient to use filters with these lenses, with the rotating front elements, but they are also prone to potentially malfunction or break in the future. Some optical elements can shift over time, which can significantly affect the sharpness, contrast, and overall image quality that the lens takes. Professional lenses remain the same size throughout the entire zoom range, solving these issues. Number 12 is the construction. Consumer lenses are not designed to handle occasional bumps, drops, or other types of abuse. Drop one and you might as well buy a new lens, as it costs just about as much to repair it as it costs to buy a new one, maybe even more. Plastic parts tend to break easily or dislocate when hit with enough force. Professional lenses, on the other hand, are built to withstand a lot of abuse. Both inner components and the outer barrel are typically made of metal, which adds a lot of weight but also protects the lenses. Number 13 is weather sealing. Another big difference in lens cost is weather sealing. Fixed length professional lenses with tough construction are mostly sealed against dust and moisture, so they continue to perform in extreme temperatures, in humidity, and even in rain. Consumer lenses do not have the same level of protection. They are much more prone to accumulating dust, moisture, and fungus inside over time. Finally, number 14 is the weight. While all that metal used on lenses can significantly increase the weight of the lens, it is not always a bad thing. Heavier lenses typically balance better on heavier pro-level DSLRs. However, if used on entry-level plastic DSLRs, it can make the setup too front-heavy and tough to handle. Heavy lenses also potentially put too much stress on the lens mount if handled incorrectly. My question of the day is, what is your favorite lens and why? Leave a comment below and let us know. Would you like to learn more about your camera settings to get you shooting like a pro? I've created an absolutely free cheat sheet for you on all the best camera settings for your DSLR mirrorless and interchangeable lens video camera that will show you the settings that will allow your photos and videos to compete with the pros. The link to get that cheat sheet is just below in the video description. I've also created cheat sheets on other topics such as video editing. Now even offer training courses on video editing using Adobe Premiere Pro, which is part of the Adobe Creative Suite, and soon there'll be others. I'll link to those cheat sheets and training courses below as well. You want to see more videos like this? Follow my YouTube channel, jimcostafilms, for more. Think what you saw is great? Like it. Do you have an opinion? Feel free to comment below. Do you know someone who could benefit from the information I provided? Please share the video. Do you want to learn even more? If so, then connect with jimcostafilms on social media and online, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and the web. I currently have over 4,300 videos on my YouTube channel, jimcostafilms, so feel free to check out many of my other videos for great tips and suggestions. Now, if you followed me for a while now, you probably know that I have a community of photographers, videographers, and filmmakers just like you on Facebook, where I share pro tips and tricks. The group is called the Video Producers and Content Creators. I love new members who want to share their work and learn from others. You'll find the link to the group in the description below. Feel free to join it, where you'll learn much more.